So the curator, Laura Herman, invited me to do an exhibition that she developed that's called The New Sanctuary, which deals with questions around architecture. So I was particularly interested in creating a project that would deal with the relationship between architecture and psychology for this proposal by Laura. And the Arcadia Center is an imagined institution which proposes to teach people empathy. It sort of investigates those ideas.
Notice any sensations that you feel, starting with your head, relaxing the muscles in your face.
The Arcadia Center is in two parts, basically. There's the first part you encounter, which is a workshop kind of space, and you walk in to a room that has an audio work that's called Exercise, which is this empathy training exercise that's been inspired by the workshops led by the psychiatrist Dr. Helen Reese, who became well known for teaching nurses and doctors how to practice more empathic care with their patients.
Continue moving down from the back to your legs.
In the Arcadia Center workshop, you see a sculpture that is made up of these glass plates, these blown glass works that have a very particular plant on it as well. And that work is sort of like a shrine in this sort of therapeutic or temple-like space. So the plants are called resurrection plants or Rose of Jericho. They're known for their ability to survive in a very dried up state for decades, perhaps at a time. And when they get water, they open up like a flower. And they're a kind of fern that's grown in the desert. And in this case, I was interested in using them for their metaphoric potential to talk about ideas around immortality and survival under sort of extreme circumstances. The second part of the exhibition is a film that's called Cura, which takes place in a house designed by the architect Richard Neutra. And Richard Neutra moved to Los Angeles and started his practice there, very much inspired by the teachings of Sigmund Freud and the sort of burgeoning wellness and health culture that was going on in Los Angeles at the time. And so he integrates a lot of these ideas around how to make architecture more connected to the environment in his building practices. And so it's a very unique house in that you see exterior natural space and the environment entering into the inside. So I wanted to choose a tortoise to be the protagonist of the film because I thought it would embody the character of Cura. But I was also really fascinated by tortoises in themselves and turtles at large, which have their shells and they carry with them their own homes. They have their own kind of architecture that they move through the world in. Tortoise actually sings and speaks to us about the survival of humanity and the human race, about empathy, about architecture and its role in all of this. It's a text written by me, but it borrows language from both the myth of Cura, which is a Roman myth that tells the story of the creation of humanity, and then also Richard Neutra, who wrote a book called Survival Through Design in 1954. Architecture and certainly culture as a whole has a very significant role to play in sort of producing a kind of empathic capacity in human life. It's not just my responsibility, I don't think. It's all of the cultural workers, it's all of the people who are kind of trying to address these questions in their own way.
Look at your architecture. You humans inhabit jungles of your own making. Cities that are growing beyond belief. They envelop the child, adolescent, and adult like an inescapable fate. The constructed environment becomes us.